I started importation when dollar is equal to 1 naira or 80 kobo. When I first went to London, in the street of London, you see pounds, dollar, and naira. I think 1 naira was equal to 80 kobo then, and now 1 naira is equal to 580 naira.
No, $1.
$1 is 580 naira, and 1 pound is equivalent to 700.
700.
How will you survive that? No way.
Hi guys, hello beautiful people. Oh Jesus. Hello beautiful people and welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It's Hannah here as always. It's Hannah here as usual. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always tuning in, and if you're not yet a subscriber, please, because of my father, click on the subscribe icon, turn on your bell notification so that whenever I put up a new video you won't be left out. See how my father is looking at me. Anywho guys, we have a guest. This is an official introduction, okay? So this is my dad. Dad, introduce yourself.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself.
I'm the father of my beloved daughter.
Yeah, you're the what is your name?
My name is Ukeje Moses Semenike.
Yeah. Guys, please welcome my dad to the channel. My dad is here with us after so much begging. My father has been complaining that he doesn't want to do, but he's here. Yes, my father is finally on our channel. So today I want to introduce my dad. This is my dad. Daddy, what's your business name? Tell them.
Official business name is O'Graham Group.
O'Graham Group. O'Graham Group.
O'Graham Group.
So what's the full meaning of O'Graham?
O'Graham means Grace and Hannah.
Yep. Grace and Hannah is the meaning of his business name. Grace and Hannah. Yeah, my sister's name is Grace, and if you don't know, my name is Hannah. So yes, the business name, my dad's business name is Grace and Hannah, and my dad is importer exporter cocoa water. Know when an Igbo man is importer exporter cocoa water. He's an importer. He's an importer. Are you an exporter? No, he's an importer, because you know, typical Nigerians, we merge it together. When they say someone is an importer, you say importer exporter. What I want you to tell my people is your business, how you went about with your importing rugs, you know, traveling to different countries, what you learned, how it affected you, what you enjoyed most about it, the risks, the benefits, all those things. Okay, so Daddy, the floor is yours.
Actually, I started my importation in the year 1987, to be precise. I went to London in 1987, and when there was a scarcity of what we call buying the bar, I went to North London. Fortunately, I saw in a yellow page what they called where they were used to advertise, because by then there was nothing like handphone.
Okay, GSM
handset. So through the yellow page, I saw what I want to buy from a company in London, North London. I bought the binder bar. I freighted them through Port Harcourt, and I came back and made some little money in it, and went back and bought another one. Before I could know it, somebody intercepted where I used to buy my goods and bought a container load of it. I opened gateway for the person to continue to prosper, because she used contact with somebody to make a lot of money out of it.
What's binder bar?
Binder bar is when you come into the house, is the first thing you used to click in the door.
Okay, that thing in by the door.
Shining thing that the door.
Okay.
So I was the first person to import it in Nigeria. Smooth edge. Use it at the edge of the wall to tighten the carpet. Okay. So by then I used to supply big companies like Shell, Mobil, and any man that has work to do, that that want to make his house fine. My name rings a bell.
So how did you go about managing all the container loads of carpets and all that back in the day?
No, then when I discovered that as a businessman, you have your ups and downs. I used to buy used to buy from somebody that used to buy carpet from Atlanta, Georgia. After a while, we had some fallout. He decided not to supply to me. I said it's a challenge to me. I met one of my best friends. He introduced me to one man in Anambra that helped me to go to Germany. I went to a town called Hanover. I think Hanover, oh yeah? I've forgotten at the course of our discussion, I'll tell you the name of the place. So I went to the company. The man, as I was sitting there, they were speaking Dutch. I realized that they want to buy the carpet from another country, that's Belgium. From Belgium to Germany is a very close by country. I was there for 1 month plus. I discovered that they went to Belgium to buy the carpet. I said, okay, as an Igbo man concerned, I've gotten what I want.
What you wanted, yes.
I said, yeah. There and behold, I said, okay, since you want to play upon you are a commission agent, I decided to make an inquiry. I got a visa for letter of invitation from Belgium through a source. I came back to Nigeria and got a letter of invitation, and I applied for visa in a Belgian embassy. I got a visa for Belgium. I went to Belgium. I went to an agent, a woman that used to buy from a manufacturer. After discussion, I discovered that the woman used to buy from the manufacturer and not the manufacturer. So the woman asked me if I can be buying cars, refurbished cars from her to ship it to Nigeria. I told her, no, that one will hold back my money. I said, I can't do it. Let me focus on what I know based on what my uncle told me. To focus on what you know than diverting from one trade to another. So I decided to focus on carpet. So when I came back, I searched for companies in Korea. I met another company that the name of that company is ID Toft, a manufacturing company. I wrote them, they gave me a letter of invitation. I went to ID Toft. I think I bought almost 20 containers from them. And when I came, after that, and some local traders lured me to be buying used clothing that is fast-moving business. I bought 40 feet of used clothing then.
That's okrika.
Okrika. And when I bought the okrika, man, it was hell. They squandered my money and pocketed the whole money. Proceed, I had both my capital and the gain. I went back to square one. I said, wow, that's hard to survive. I'm going back to the village. So there and behold, I sold some of my things and went back to the idea of a company. I bought some containers from them and decided to spring up. I met a man, say he's interested for me to teach him how to do business. Sorry, I can't mention the name, though that he's late. The wife is a former senator. And before she became a senator, she was one of the managers of one of the big banks. She retired, and then they have money, but they don't know what to do with the money. I took the husband to the company I used to buy things from. He bought 240 feet of carpet. She doesn't know how to sell it. I have to buy it when she brought it.
Buy from her.
From her here in Nigeria. From there, I continue buying until the time of Abacha, something of that nature. But then I was having about 2 containers. That 2 container was on the way coming. They had a ban in importation of used rug. I said, wow, what am I to do? I called my shipper to shortland the container at Cotonou. They shortlanded the 2 containers at Cotonou. What I did is to carry the container from Cotonou to Maradi in Niger Republic. From Maradi, I smuggled it from Maradi to Dara to Katsina to Kano. From Kano to Aba. That took a hell of money from me, and it cost me a fortune. But I make sure that the goods came back, and it came back. And the importation of carpet spoil, I diverted to importing buying from local manufacturers, because they were after me, saying that I'm a big smuggler. So I decided to be buying locally. I bought some quantity from, they were competing with each other, but then I was having outlet in Port Harcourt, Aba, and 3 branches in Aba. So I didn't know that in Port Harcourt, that's where my God blessed me. So when I concentrated in Port Harcourt, I overshadowed all the carpet dealers in Port Harcourt. My office was then at 200 Abarot in Port Harcourt. So at the time, we were doing some jingles in Port Harcourt, and people started knowing us until at such a time the orderly government came, and they, on my way coming to Port Harcourt, because I used to pass my weekend in Aba. Before I could come back to Aba, they pulled down my warehouse. All my goods at that place. And unfortunate thing that happened, that rain soaked the whole thing. But then there's a carpet, very expensive carpet I had. As of then, 1 yard of it is sold at big money. So I was having almost 200 rows of carpet then, all of them soaked in
with water.
So that's where I had a very setback. I came back, I dusted my passport again. I said, wow, Nigeria, here I leave you. I decided to relocate to South Korea. It was no. Before then, I ventured into, I opened a co-room in my head office in Aba. I did it for about 7 months. 1 year, the thing wanted to cripple my life or kill me. I canceled it. I said, Nigeria, here I leave you. I dusted my passport. I said, since I've been to too many places, been to 5-7 countries in Europe, I said, wow, Asia, here I come. I went to South Korea and spent about 15 years in South Korea. And I came back. And while I was in South Korea, I was exporting the carpet. 2 years of my stay in South Korea, I sent in 120 feet of used clothing. By then, there was no thorough way, no easy movement of containers. That's contraband container from Korea direct to Nigeria. So I have to smuggle it from Cotonou and from Lomé. They will transload it in a small ship to Sao Tome and Principe. From there, they smuggle it back to Aba. And that way, that one nearly killed me because of the hazardous way of doing business there. The container stayed about 9 months on voyage while I was in Korea, and that money squandered. I started again, but I partnered with somebody. We brought in about 4 containers of carpet. The money squandered. I work. I raised some money. I partnered with another man. He showed me how hair looked like. After that, I sent 140 feet to Nigeria to my town boy. He seized my $28,000 worth of used clothing. So that's it. On my way coming back, I said, well, instead of coming back home to Nigeria to be idle, I bought five trucks of feed cooling van, and I decided to buy some other things.
So he's retired from importation.
I'm retired from importation.
He's retired and now, but not tired.
No, not tired. Yeah.
He's retired but not tired. So he retired from importation, even though he's still into his cooling van business.
No. I'm resting my head to know the next line of fashion.
According to him, he's resting his head to know. That means you have plans
big
of importing again.
I have very big plan now to import. What do they call it? That's my secret.
Okay, that's the secret. Oh, Jesus, this man does not want to retire. But basically,
I'm too young to retire.
At all, you're too young, too fresh. So, it's mostly in the East, like the Igbos, that especially the young men in the East that take time and spend years in serving somebody. Somebody can just wake up one morning and put money in a particular business without having an idea of what the business is all about.
My blood is trading. Fortunately for me, my uncle picked me at the age of 7 or 6 and withdrew me from my parents, and I lived with him. Even during the war, I was with him, and as a young boy, he was studying me and know the kind of thing that fit me in my life. He put me into a comprehensive secondary school. I schooled at Ikorabasi secondary school. From there, I did about 1 year higher education, high school education. Then he asked me to go to US, that I should go to US and study. I said I will not go. That I don't have time to travel to America to go and study. I said, but then there was money in Nigeria then. That around 1991, 92, 93. He asked me that I should go to US and study. The only thing is that I'm so fortunate to fall into be his relation. He said the mother and my mother were siblings. So he loved me to a fault. So from there, after my secondary school, I didn't learn that carpet business. I just entered there, and God gave me the wisdom. I studied. When I used to hop in from one warehouse of people to another, studying how they were doing their business. I was trying to learn all the tricks of the business.
Okay.
So when after a while, they said that don't come to our warehouse again. You're a turning man.
Okay. Importation business. I'm sure some of my subscribers, some of them, especially the young men, would, if they don't want to, maybe with your tutelage, they would want to venture into importation, or maybe some of them are already into importation or exportation. Every business has its risk, and importation the investment in importation is a huge amount of money. so comes the risk. Because when you invest a whole lot of money in importation, when you are about to lose, you lose a whole lot as well. So what do you have to say to such people that are maybe finding it difficult and making losses in their business ventures?
I would say, if you want to be an importer, you have double heart. Not only heart of stone, heart of steel iron.
Heart of stone plus iron.
Steel iron. That's where you will succeed, because importation is like not this time around is the worst time.
Very risky.
More than risky. Now the exchange rate is about 580 naira to a dollar. I started importation when dollar is equal to 1 naira or 80 kobo when I first went to London. In the street of London, you see pounds, dollar, and naira. I think 1 naira was equal to 80 kobo then, and now 1 naira is equal to 580 naira.
No, $1.
$1 is 580 naira, and 1 pound is equivalent to 700. How will you survive that? No way. So for you to be into business, you have into
importation business.
Into importation, you have to have still heart to do importation.
It's very risky.
Very down to
risky.
But I can't retire from it. I'm just
because it's in your blood.
Yeah?
It's in your blood.
Now I brought when I was in Korea, I brought in my container from Korea to Port Lagos with $4,500 for 40 feet. But now, as I'm talking with you, it's $10,600
for 40 feet.
For 40 feet from Korea from Incheon Wharf to Apapa Wharf is $10,600.
Wow!
How much are you going to make out of it? With exchange rate of 580 naira, what kind of gain are you going to make out of it? Nigeria is totally finished.
It's finished. But I'm sure you enjoyed the good old days.
More than I did. You know, when I bring in my container, I will look for new car to buy.
Yes, back then. Yeah. My dad was a baller. You know, when a young boy is balling, especially when my dad comes back from overseas, we have goodies to enjoy. My mom was a police when it comes to goodies. She would say, all your teeth. And my dad spoiled us silly. He spoiled us silly with chocolates, goodies, anything and everything.
What made carpet to be popular?
Because of tiles.
Yeah.
Yes, carpet is no longer it's not in vogue. It's tiles now that are in vogue. Since tiles came, it took them, all the carpet importers, out of business. It pushed them out, but they are good old days to remember. So as you all heard, my dad is not retired. He's just warming the bench.
And we are planning big.
Yes, he's coming back big. This boy is coming. He's coming back big, but notwithstanding, if you plan on venturing into importation or any of that kind of thing, you have to have the heart of iron.
No, not iron. Heart of steel.
Steel.
To overcome the
ups and downs. Because I remember when my dad almost had stroke.
Yeah, that's right.
My dad almost had stroke because of container Nabiana High. This video, my dad has gone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to venture into importation, be ready, have your heart of steel, make your money, get ready for the ups and downs. It's not just a straight road. It's not luxury. Okay, it's not luxury. Still, even if you make your money, you still have to get ready to partake in the risk. And at the end of it, you will still enjoy your profits. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up. Leave your comments in the comment section. Like this video, share this video, because I'm definitely sure this video will be of help to somebody out there. And I'll see you guys in my next banger. Okay, bye guys. Bye.